Hey everyone, and welcome to CaringKind Live. I am your host, Chris Doucette. Thank you guys so much for coming here. Another weekly live stream by CaringKind. I am your host, Chris Doucette, and there I am, right there. Welcome to CaringKind Live again. We do this every Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is a beautiful autumn day in New York City. It rained a couple of days for the past couple of days, but the sun is now out. It's shining, and I am inside, of course, at CaringKind's official broadcast studio, which is my studio apartment in Queens. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, we do this every week. We talk to staff, board, volunteers, sponsors, partners, caregivers, everyone, to talk about the important work of Alzheimer's and dementia caregiving. And if you're watching this as a rebroadcast, thank you so much for watching this older version of the weekly live stream. Make sure that you like the content, subscribe, and check out the live version so that you can actually interact with me and the guests that I have on the platform. In fact, we already have one comment. Amy is saying hi. So, hey, Amy. Thanks for watching. So if you'd like to say hello to myself or my guest Nick today, feel free to just shout out, say hi, say what's up, send me an emoji, a heart, a like, a thumbs up, whatever you want to do. This is your chance to interact with the people who are running the show in terms of CaringKind and the CaringKind's partners. And if you need support, of course, all you have to do is contact our helpline, which is on your scrolling on your screen right now. So just click that 646 dial, not click. I'm too internet focused today. Dial old-fashioned the 646-744-2900 anytime to get support from CaringKind and Alzheimer's dementia caregiving. We've got another comment here. Diana Burgess, thank you so much. What's up? How are you? Nice birds. I think, yeah, birds in the clouds. That's a cool pic. I like that a lot. And a couple people are sending. I'm getting a square from Linda because Linda, you're using a mobile phone that my system doesn't recognize. That's how old my laptop is, guys. It doesn't even recognize half the emojis. But it works, and it worked this weekend. And the one thing that I want to talk about is the walk. And before we get to the walk, of course, I want to make this pitch for social media. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, thank you so much for watching. All of the links that we're talking about today, from the walk to the gala to Fox Rehabilitation, all of these links are found in the show description of this video, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. So click that show description and you can see all of the links. One day I'll get this right. We'll see all the links to all of these websites in order to get the information you need. So whenever and wherever you can, please follow us on social media, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And because the more you subscribe, like, and share our content, the more you amplify our message of Alzheimer's and dementia caregiving, and you get our message into the hands of people who need it most. And that is, of course, families affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. So let's get right into it. I'm very, if you've seen the live stream before, you know that it's in two parts. The first part is caregiving, CaringKind highlights. And then the second part is, of course, my interview with my guest. And my guest today is Nick Lampiasi of Fox Rehabilitation. And I look forward to that conversation to hear about what he does and what all those letters are after his name. It's a mystery to me, so we're going to find out together. And if you have any questions about this, again, just leave a comment in the Facebook or YouTube comment section, and I'll air it and we'll talk about it. No time like the present, right? So let's start by talking about CaringKind highlights. This is, and I'm going to get rid of my name here because at this point, you know who I am. So these are the CaringKind highlights. Usually we talk about the items in the news and CaringKind related things. Well, I'm going to talk about really two things this week. And that is because we just had our CaringKind walk on Sunday. But before we talk about the CaringKind walk, I do want to make one pitch for our next event, which is the Forget Me Not Gala on October 26th. The Forget Me Not Gala is, again, a virtual gala. Tickets are free. You don't have to pay anything up front for a seat. Usually it's a contribution in order to get a seat at the table, but now it's virtual. So registration is free. And we've got a great program lined up for you guys. So if you'd like to attend our gala, you are more than welcome to. And the link to the gala is in the show description of this video. So please check that out. But most of all, what I want to talk to you today about is the walk. The walk just happened on Sunday, October 11th. I am still recovering. It was a lot of work, but it was really, really successful. And it was successful because of you. We had hundreds of walkers. We raised, we're almost at $400,000. So having hundreds of walkers raise $400,000 in the middle of a global health pandemic, all while I'm stuck in my kitchen in Queens, is a remarkable achievement. And it really speaks to everyone's, this community's dedication to Alzheimer's and dementia caregiving, and the generosity of this community. So if you were involved with the walk, if you participated in the walk, if you walked, if you raised money, if you donated, if you created a fundraising page, if you liked our content and shared it on social media, if you just joined our YouTube channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been at CaringKind for 7 years, and I have seen firsthand the incredible work that this organization does, and so it's an organization that I can feel really good to support. I feel really great about supporting, and I'm happy to do this kind of work. So let me just so again, if you haven't been to our walk website, I am going to share it with you right now, and there it is. Well, now you lost me. There we go. Can we swap it here? No, that's not right. Can you see it? There we go. That's what I wanted. So as you can see, we've raised over $392,000 already, and I know we've got it. And the nice thing about a virtual walk is that even if you weren't able to participate on Sunday, that's okay, because the event itself is virtual. All of our digital assets are right there on YouTube for you. So if you're late to the party, if you'd like to still participate in the walk, you can. Our walk is going through November 30th. And so if you'd like to create a walk team and still have a walk, you should go ahead and do that. What you can do is you can choose a date of your own. Maybe you want November 8th to be the day of your walk. So join the walk, create a team, do some fundraising, and then get the walk t-shirt, and you can have your very own walk. And if you look at this, where is it here? If you look at our walk, if you scroll down past that hero image, you'll see that our content is right here. And you'll see our opening ceremony, our caregiving panel discussion, our concert with David Hyde Pierce. I mean, I gotta say, that concert with David Hyde Pierce was really, is really one of my favorite things that we created in support of this walk. David did an incredible job. The performers, as host and performer, and then the other performers were so amazing. So that was a real joy to create, and I'm so glad that people are really responding well to it. There's I know what my favorite moment was, and that is the concert. If you had a favorite moment, if there's something that stood out to you on walk day, if you've seen these digital assets, please feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you liked about that walk. And of course, I'm going to show you, before I get to my conversation with Nick, I am going to show you right now what our YouTube page looks like. So in case you want to see what's going on, you can see it right here. I'm just going to give you a quick tour, and then we'll get to our conversation with Nick. So here is our YouTube page, and you'll see at the very top is our live stream with Nick, and then the very first row of content is our walk program. So you'll see Avita Bansi here, and Bill Ritter, and the caregiving panel, and David Hyde Pierce. And of course, one of my favorite things is the outtakes, which actually has gotten more views than anything else. course, everybody loves a blooper, right? And so we had our very own blooper reel. So that was our walk. We had such a great time. It was a great experience. And again, we've raised almost $400,000. And we have a couple of teams who are going to join the walk in the next week or two. And they're going to create their own walk team and have their own walk day in a few weeks from now. And so they're going to bring us over $400,000. So altogether, you guys have just done an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you so very much. One last thing about the walk before my conversation with Nick is if you did donate, thank you so much. You can double your donation by going to our walk page and or our matching gifts page, and you can check to see if your employer matches employee donations. So if you donate 25, you can get your employer to match, and your donation will count as $50. If you donated 100, it'll double to 200. So please, if you did donate to the walk, please check out our matching gifts page. The link is in the show description of this video, and check to see if your employer matches gifts. If they do, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but your employer will match your gift, and our revenue for Alzheimer's and dementia caregiving will double, and that's an incredible thing. So thank you so much. Help us achieve our ultimate goal, which is $500,000. But to get to $400,000 again in the middle of a pandemic from my kitchen in Queens, thank you so very, very much. Okay, and that's really all I wanted to talk about before I bring on my guest, which I'm very excited about. One of the reasons why our walk was so successful is because of the involvement of our sponsors, and one of our sponsors includes Fox Rehabilitation. And so please welcome to the show the Senior Regional Director of Fox Rehabilitation, Mr. Nick Lampiasi. Hey,
Hello.
Nick.
Hi, how are you? How's everybody?
Hey, how are you?
Great. Just appreciating being here. It's great.
Yeah, you've got the CaringKind orange on. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, we share the same. It's great. It's a fall foliage type of thing, so it's appropriate for sure.
Absolutely. Is orange Fox's color?
Yes. It's been orange for quite a long time. I'd say a good 10, 12 years now. We went orange.
Oh, well, that makes sense because foxes are kind of orange, right?
Yeah. And people get us mistaken with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. They have the same orange too. So just keep it orange and we'll be good. Yeah.
Keep it orange. Yeah. No, you're good. Well, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a walk sponsor this year.
Yeah, pleasure.
And before I ask you about Fox Rehabilitation and the work that you do, can you tell me about the letters after your name? When people look at OTRL, what does that mean?
Sure. So occupational therapist, OT, R is registered, and L is licensed. There's more letters. I've kept it out. But to keep it simple, that's the registered licensed occupational therapy nomenclature.
I see, and that's pretty fancy. And I just placed your name tag up there, LSVT. You've got those are the additional letters, huh?
So that's a special certificate for movement disorders, which we found in my patients too, even with Alzheimer's, Lewy body, other types of dementias. They get locked in, and that certificate definitely has helped branch out some different ideas clinically and techniques to get them moving better, so they're not so rigid and tight.
Yeah,
it's really helped.
Well, great. Well, that's a perfect lead-in to ask you about Fox Rehab itself, and then ultimately how you got involved in what you do there. So why don't you give folks an introduction about to Fox Rehab and what you do and what your mission is?
Sure. So Fox Rehabilitation is a private practice. We're in 22 states now, I think. It started with Tim Fox, who's a physical therapist out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, back in 1998. He was looking for an avenue to deliver what's otherwise known as home care, which we are not home care. We're a house call practice, just like the physicians are starting to do again. Back in the 1910s with the leather satchels going from home to home. We're a Medicare Part B provider. So we're not a nursing agency, and everybody gets us confused with nursing agencies because we come to the home, but we're a professional private practice of speech, occupational, and physical therapists that specifically work with the older adult. We don't work with the New York Yankees. We're not in sports medicine. We're specifically older adult. We have approximately 2,000 therapists, licensed therapists around the Eastern Coast and central United States. Right here in New York City, my position is to oversee the operations for New York City and Long Island. And I help out about 180 therapists under that umbrella, with the additional support of regional directors in Brooklyn and one in Queens. And we have about 8 regional directors to help support the clinicians so they can do a really good job supporting our patients.
And how did you get involved in not only in that kind of work? Like, what made you decide to do this kind of physical work with people?
So I've been an occupational therapist. This is my 20th year now.
Wow.
We started in the nursing homes I'm from Connecticut, Massachusetts area. And I started, at a really tough time. It took me 5 months to find my first job after college, and worked at a nursing home, and then went to a rehab. And then I worked my wife and I got married, and we moved here to Manhattan. I was working with the visiting nurses of New York for about 2.5 years. And I fell in love with going to people's homes. I really felt like an occupational therapist. I could see people in their own environment. It's not a simulated kitchen in some kind of hospital-based rehab or anything like that. And we get people on day like today. I really, really condone having our therapists bring our patients outside, get some community reintegration with balance and crossing the streets, and as an OT, going to the store, doing some real life type of situations. And we work that right into their plan of care. So I've been with Fox now for almost 15 years now. In January, it'll be 15 years. And I really can't see myself in any other environment but working with the older adult in the home. I really can't.
Yeah. What is it about that population that you like so much? What resonates for you?
I always thought I was going to be a hand therapist when I was going through college, specializing in hand therapy, but that didn't work out. I really didn't like working with just, hand situations all the time and not working with the rest of the human. So, it's a fortunate thing when you're a student, it's a luck of the draw. I got some really good field work placements. We do like apprenticeships and things like that before we get licensed and take our boards. And I really enjoyed working with the older adult, the conversations we have, learning about every war from, World War II up till Vietnam. And then it's very fascinating. Everybody's got their niche in life, I feel. I have 2 children, but I cannot work with children in my job. Pediatrics isn't my thing. I love having conversations and getting to know people and their families, because that's one of the great things about this type of environment with Fox, is that not only are we working with the person, with the patient, but we're working with their families, and ever so much more with somebody that has memory loss and memory impairment. For sure, it's just part of the plan of care to really get somebody to function at their maximum capacity. Yeah.
And what would you say is the most common the most common problem with someone for someone with Alzheimer's and dementia? What are the most common kind of either symptoms or strategies that you employ to help them, rehabilitate themselves or function better?
Yeah, it's, I guess, wrapped up in one, it's the safety of everything. Our mission, our goal is to keep people living in their homes until the end. Yes, we work in assisted livings. We certainly do, no doubt about it. We don't work in nursing homes and things of that nature generally. Our goal and mission is to try to keep people living in their apartments as long as we can safely and maximizing their function. I mean, a lot of people here in New York City they've been in the same apartment since right after the war, and they really would choose to stay in that apartment as long as possible. Right. Of course, with memory impairment, it makes it that much harder for families. So family education, patient education with memory loss, and the 100+ different types of dementias that are out there that we work with. Safety and family education is probably the #1 thing. Muscles don't have dementia. Okay, so we can get people that have stage 7 dementia, end stage dementia, they can get stronger. And it's unfair for them not to get the services to keep their muscles stronger, to keep that circulation going in their brain. We can't reverse it, but we can certainly slow it down. There's been a lot of evidence that exercise and good circulation can slow down the progression. And so we really, really hold true to that and try to maximize somebody's function that way. Of course, we're not doing the typical type of intervention we would with maybe somebody with a total hip replacement or something like that. It's not exercise-based, it's more activity-based with those with memory impairment. We have to keep their attention as long as possible. And then when they start losing the attention, we gotta change the game plan a little bit and try to engage them in something different before the session is kind of just, trying to beat our heads against the wall and frustrating everybody. So we don't want to do that.
Right. Well, you must interact with not only the person with dementia, but also their caregiver. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship? Because that's not just one person, that's two people you're kind of working with.
It's the family as well as if you have a private caregiver as well. So we work with 24-hour, 7-day-a-week caregivers just as much as we would with a daughter that might be visiting from California. So we do ask a lot of questions. A lot of people are saying, why do you want to know so much about my mom? Why do you want to know about me? And it's so that we can really tailor fit our plan of care and our strategies so that it's meaningful to them. We don't want to be practicing golf if somebody doesn't want to play golf, but if somebody does play golf or tennis, or if they used to be a great handball player out in Brooklyn or something like that, then we will engage those type of activities as best as we can to keep the person's attention and to try to get to have their balance get better. And it just has such a symbiotic relationship when you engage in activities that somebody's very much interested with. The end result is going to be good. Whereas if you try to just do the same old mundane rote exercises of 3 sets of 10 with certain populations, you won't get anywhere.
No, you won't get anywhere with me either, because you get bored after the third workout, right? Yeah. So I get it. Have you had? Can you think of a moment when you incorporated someone's favorite activity that they used to do when they were younger? Are any good moments that you've had when you working with someone and you feel like you've had a kind of breakthrough and they had a great response to incorporating a past activity into your work?
Yeah, sure. There's been plenty of those type of things. Once we tap into somebody's likes and interests, we can start working on that. And I personally had a patient. I still treat, not as much as I used to. I have a lot more of the kind of, I hate to say the word, like management administration type of thing, of trying to lead the practice to bigger and better things and be growing the practice. And supporting the clinicians. That's really my job, is to support the directors and the clinicians. But when I was a full-time occupational therapist with Fox, which was a long time ago, I had a patient on East 72nd Street who used to love playing tennis, and he wouldn't really want to do anything else but play tennis. Now, he had a beautiful apartment, but it certainly wasn't the size of a tennis court outside. But we were able to simulate tennis inside by, instead of using maybe a tennis ball, we could use something like something much lighter that won't break things. Balloons are a big part of my intervention. You won't see a $10,000 Ming vase over there or anything like that. And we use balloons a lot. Certain colors we have found to definitely enhance somebody's engagement. Green, bright green is a really good one. Orange is great as well, of course. Once we really got playing, and I hate to use the word playing because I'm a licensed professional, right? And we're playing with our patients, having a good time. Lo and behold, his wife, they have a house, I think up in Westchester, something like that as well. And after a couple months, he was back on his tennis court up in Westchester playing again, which was, I think, 8 to 10 years he hadn't been able to have the mobility and the attention to do that. Now, granted, he's not going up against a pro or anything, but he's really having a good time again, getting outside and not just festering on a couch. And so.
Yeah. What percentage of your clients would you say do have Alzheimer's or dementia or some kind of cognitive impairment?
I think I have stage 1 dementia right now. I think we're in stage 1 right now. We go by the global deterioration scale, which is a 1 to 7 scale, and it's just there's different barriers of milestones that we've kind of helped define where that person might be in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, the hardest ones are those folks that they're about the stage 4 where they start recognizing they're really starting to lose their memory between stage 3 and 4. And it becomes very scary for that individual because they still have enough insight to know something's not right.
Right.
Family certainly has recognized it longer, but they start to say like, yeah, you're right. Wow, I really don't remember where I put my keys. I don't remember turning off the stove. And you know what? I better go back and I better check. So I would say out of, oh Lord, we have 180 clinicians right now treating full time. So we're treating at any given day thousands of people. We see about, on average, we see about 6 to 7 visits a day. The visits are about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So thousands of people just in the New York City, Long Island area that I help oversee, and way over half, I would say it's closer to 75% of the folks that we see have some sort of memory impairment, whether it's very mild to end stage.
Right.
And again, we work with a lot of people with Parkinson's, and Parkinson's has its own type of dementia. We work with organic type of brain dementias, you name it. Lewy body, like I said before, circulatory type, cardiac related. So, you know, we really want to tap into that person's wants and interests, and we'll be able to go from there as long as we're able to develop a good relationship, and we're able to stay with patients for a long time, fortunately, with Medicare Part B. You know, there's no set amount of visits we can do, but we have to show skill. And once that skill is kind of hard for us to justify, then there is a discharge day sooner or later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do private pay after that and things like that. But we do see I mean, we're not curing anything. We really aren't. I'm not gonna lie and say we're curing anything. We certainly maintain as best as possible and have families and patients live with this. I mean, it's not easy, but as best as we possibly can with the most amount of education and movement as we can in our role.
Yeah. And what kind of training do you and your clinicians get on with regard to working with people with Alzheimer's and dementia disease?
Yes, one of the things, again, like one of the things Dr. Tim Fox started Fox Rehab was he was a physical therapist in a old school type of like nursing home, I guess you could say. And saw that folks with memory impairment were kind of discarded off to the side. They weren't getting the therapy that somebody with a stroke just had, or somebody that had more of an acute orthopedic type of issue had. So Tim's big philosophy was, you know, of course, going to the home with a bunch of different types of diagnoses that we see, but really did start to focus a lot of attention on those with memory impairment, because he saw that those folks were weren't getting the services they deserve. So we do have, you know, a certain amount of, I think for the state of New York, for an occupational therapist, it's 36 CEUs over 3 years. So it's about 12 hours a year, around that, credits. And so part of that, though, at Fox is we have our own system of continuing education. And I mean, we just have a library of education that's specific to how to work with people and how to work with families with memory impairment, because honestly, it's not taught well in school, at least when I went to school back then. I hope it's a lot better nowadays. I do see our younger clinicians now having a better understanding than when I first graduated, how to work with the families a lot more. And it's not just, you know, fixing muscles and fixing balance and reducing pain, because we all get trained on that. But it's an evolving situation, because it's been one of those situations where it's just not trained in school like it is a stroke. I mean, we know how to work with stroke and knee replacements and hip replacements like nobody's business. But I hope the curriculums in the United States now are really focusing a lot more as our population gets older and older and older on the memory impairment population.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And how do people know when to call you? At what point is the trigger that makes people think, you know, we need a specific kind of help that an organization like Fox Rehab can provide?
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, I'd love to have a specific answer for that. But we work with a lot of case managers, a lot of geriatric case managers. Of course, we work with groups like CaringKind as well. And, we try to educate as many people as we can on trying to catch this quicker than waiting too long. Once we're first getting involved with somebody with end-stage dementia, yes, there's certain things we can absolutely help on. But at that stage, a lot of it is like contracture management. Their hands will start to tighten up, and we really are just in a state of stretching them out and things like that. But we can help really not prevent, because that's a strong word, but slow the progression of that contractured muscle or groups of muscles if we start therapy way early on, years before. We see that we're kind of like the dentists of the physical therapy, occupational speech therapy world. We do see people coming back, and physicians, of course, we need a physician's order to bill under Medicare. And we try to educate that physician on looking out for certain things, whether it's a balance disorder, whether it's a memory disorder. Again, we do have speech and language pathology here at Fox, and they're really, really great with working with the memory impaired. OTs are good. We're good, but not as good as speech therapy. They get trained in schools than occupational therapists. And then if you've been a physical therapist for long enough at Fox, you know how to work with families and patients with memory disorders. I mean, it's just, we can't escape it. It's not that we're even looking to. We embrace it. We're just surrounded by people with any level of memory impairment at any given time of the day. So it's just part of our culture and whom we treat and help.
Great. That's great. We've got a, I'm sorry?
The earlier, the better. Yeah. Really, when you see mom or dad or your aunt or uncle, and they might be physically fine, they're walking around, but if they start to forget certain things, which is going to happen, it's going to happen sooner or later, it's good to get a consult. It's good to ask either a neurologist, a primary care physician. We can even get a therapy prescription from a podiatrist or nurse practitioner, whomever is legally allowed to write a therapy prescription in the state of New York or New Jersey or wherever people might be watching out there. We do need that to bill Medicare, and we need it even if it's a private pay, because it's just an extra layer of protection that we engage your primary care physician or somebody overseeing a medical oversight with that situation for sure.
That's good advice. And that was going to be my next question, which is, what advice would you have for caregivers or people with early stage dementia, what to do? And what your advice sounds like is, it sounds like get a consultation and start early. Is that right?
And keep moving. Just keep moving. People and families. I know from my families, and when you're nervous and scared about the safety of your loved one, you sit down, just stay seated, and it's a safe thing to say, but in the long term, staying sitting down. I mean, we've learned from the past 7 months what quarantine does to us. I mean, man, when we didn't have the gym to go to, or a place that we could really go and exercise, that was part of our world this time last year, we've seen that come up with our older population much worse. Just for lack of a better word, much worse. They're really isolated in their apartments and their homes in New York, and they're not getting out and enjoying the sunshine today like they should be. But the safe thing to do is keep them inside. If you're worried about that, then that's a perfect opportunity to request from your physician or your dad or mom's physician to get a physical or an occupational therapy consult, because we do work with you, and if we do take walks outside. Now, granted, we can't call walks in Medicare lingo or medical. We certainly have safety precautions when crossing the street. We try to retrain the brain on certain habits that need to happen when you're walking around and being mobile again. Okay, so that's the best thing to keep, is just, I know it's scary to keep mom and dad from falling, because falling is a big deal. And our job is to do a lot of fall prevention work with families and patients as well. It's never not a situation that we have, whether or not to recover from that fall or how to fall safely. We have plenty of people that fall 10 times a day, but then we train them how to actually fall safely so they stay out of the hospital.
That's good. That's good to know, because you know you're going to fall. You know, everybody falls, right? So why not do it safely?
When we were, 6 to 8 months old, you've always been falling. It's just a question of not falling if you can get back up. So,
well, all of that is good advice. Nick, do you have anything else you want to add?
no, I just really appreciate this opportunity, and I hope everybody is staying safe out there. And thanks so much, Chris. This has been really fun.
Well, this has been really informative for me, especially, and so I'm so glad to get to know you and to get to know Fox Rehab and the great work that you do. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much too. Likewise.
All right.
Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you so much. Take care, Nick.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was Nick Lampiasi from Fox Rehabilitation, obviously doing really great work. That was my first time talking to Nick. Of course, our helpline staff are very familiar with the work that Fox Rehab does. I'm a little bit less familiar, but I just got a good 101 lesson in the incredible work that all the clinicians do at Fox Rehabilitation do for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. So if you're one of those clinicians, thank you so much for supporting this community. And of course, thanks to Fox Rehab for being one of our walk sponsors this year. And if you have any questions about Alzheimer's and dementia, of course, call our helpline at 646-744-2900. And that concludes our live stream for today. If you have any questions, call the helpline, or you can send me an email. And my email, of course, is cdoucette@cknyc.org. I am going to take a break. So usually I say I'll see you next week, but I won't see you next week because I am going on vacation. So the live stream is going on hiatus because I'm going on hiatus. So for the next 2 weeks, we will not be having a live stream event, and we're going to pick back up in the first week of November. So I just want to say again to everyone who supported our walk this year, thank you so very much. It really does mean a lot. And don't forget to get those gifts matched by your employer if you can. The link is in the show description of this video. Again, thank you very much, and I will see all of you in